Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the weekly check-in, Life Unscripted. Today you just have Keisha and myself. So I'm gonna let Keisha introduce herself.
Hello, good afternoon. Good to see you again. All right, I am Keisha L. Blair. I am a skilled trades advocate, a corporate trainer and workshop facilitator, and a podcast host for my podcast, Alpha Intuition. I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you, Veronica, once again for inviting me back.
You're welcome. Hi, I'm Veronica White. I have a nonprofit. It's called Help from a Sister, where we provide tools, techniques, and resources to help single parents transition from where they are to where they want to be. Well, single parents that have a child on the autism spectrum. And this is continuation. This is April Autism Awareness Month. There's a couple of other awareness in April as well. Financial literacy awareness, autism, and what's the other one, Keisha?
I think you did you say financial literacy?
I did mention financial
Okay, I
literacy.
think that I know we have tax time coming up. We were talking about tax time. That's not an awareness, but everybody needs to be aware about the taxes that are coming up. So yes.
Tuesday, April 15th. If you're due a refund, you have a little time. If you
Yeah.
owe the IRS, they want you to file and pay them by April 15th. Even if you have someone go in and file an extension, that means you can extend your paperwork. But whatever you think you owe them, it needs to be paid April 15th. I want to say, let's say 10 p.m. Don't give it to that deadline, which is midnight.
Mm.
You want to do the estimated and send that in. So therefore, whenever you get all your paperwork in, if you do a refund, then you'll claim that. But if not, at least you don't have to pay interest and penalties on the money that you already have to give to the IRS.
Yeah, I think one thing that I didn't realize when it came to taxes was that, if I didn't owe, I thought I had to have them in by April 15th. So, as you know, I told you earlier that I have been doing my taxes since they used to send us the little books in the mail. So I know I'm really dating myself now, but I used to do them by hand. I always try to get them in by April 15th. But even in the last few years, I realized that if I didn't owe, I still wanted to get them in simply because, if you just prolong it, it's going to take you longer to get them in. So I just will get mine done just to get them completed. And I actually finished mine this week. So I'm really happy about that. But we don't know how long. Look, the way this economy is going right now, I'm like, if you have money out there, don't let it sit in the government's hands. Go get your money.
That was definitely a side conversation we just had where I heard this week that DEI was being taken back
Mm.
from different universities and college students who actually receiving a grant for the DEI work has been taken away.
I don't get that. That's just terrible.
Yes.
So where I just want to know, where did the money go? It's like if you tell me that I have this, you've already awarded it to me. Oh no, we're going to take it back. That's like you winning the lottery and then I'm coming back and say, oh no, we're going to take this lottery money back. You didn't really win it. It's like, wow, really? Yeah,
Yes.
that's unfortunate. That's messed up.
And it affects those people budget because they're saying now if you have federal funding and you're still giving money out for DEI, then they're going to snatch the federal money that they're giving you. So they're
Mm.
making it for the educational system. They don't have a choice. It's either I take the money back from you or my whole program stop receiving federal funds. And I don't think Trump been in office 100 days yet.
That's what I was saying too. It's like I don't even like to say his name, but it's like, bro, you ain't. It's just it already seems like it's been a couple of years. It's only been a couple of months. So much has happened. So much has happened. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. Oh, I don't even really watch the news that often. I know now is probably the time to do it, to watch it more than what I do. But it's just terrible, all the stuff that certain people are experiencing now. But me being an entrepreneur, one of the things that I try to talk about is the skilled trades because the skilled trades. is an avenue that people can go down to where you don't need that federal funding. You don't need those different programs. Me being an electrician, I went through a 5-year apprenticeship program, and I want to say if it cost me anything, it was less than $500 because it just depends on whether or not I had to purchase the books. And I don't remember. I know things have been revamped now, but I believe there are some options to where the most I had to spend money on was just my tools that I needed to work. So it's definitely affordable for people looking into the skilled trades or looking into the building trade. So that's why I call myself a skilled trades champion, because I'm very, very much about promoting the skilled trades, because you won't have that debt from college, and college is not a bad option for people who can afford it, but some people can't afford it. So I mean, you don't develop your learning skills or pour into yourself. So yeah, skilled trades is definitely the way to go for some people.
That is true. Now, however, you can also go to school, and I just had it done it maybe a couple of years ago now. Go and volunteer while you're in school for a nonprofit. So therefore, you can get the public service student loan forgiveness. You're giving of your time, you're working, you're helping a nonprofit,
Mm-hmm.
you get to receive the credit of, now it does require 10 years of service for different nonprofits. If your child's in an extracurricular activity,
Mm-hmm.
and that program is a nonprofit, donate your hours to there. It's helping your child and the other children, but you'll be able to get credit for it as well. Because I use credit from my kids' youth football and cheerleading program, in addition to my own nonprofit, and was able to get over $100,000 of student loan debt.
That's good. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Let's hope they don't snatch that one back, because that sounds like it could be beneficial, to some people. Take advantage of that one before they decide that that's something else that is out here that's beneficial to the working class people.
that is true. But how was your week? What was going on
Busy.
with you this week?
Busy. Like I said, for the most part, I'm just doing outreach to different organizations and different schools, just about my tour, the Crafting Careers That Build tour. So I'm just trying to get geared up for that. I still have a few spots left on my calendar for April. So anybody who are educational decision makers, if you're looking for someone to come in and talk to your organization, talk to your team about the building trades, then please, by all means, reach out to me. My number is right there on the bottom. Reach out to me or go to craftingcareersthatbuild.com, and you can submit a booking form so that I can come and speak to your organization, speak to your school, speak to the kids, let them know about the benefit of skilled trades.
Awesome. Yeah. So if college is not for everyone.
Mm,
So there
yeah.
are alternative
Yeah,
alternative.
and I actually did both. I went to trade school first, and then or did I do? Yeah, I went to trade school first, and then I went to college. Um, so you can actually still do both. I just felt like I took the skilled trades option first because it helped me to pay for my college tuition once I got to college. So you can still do both. If you already have a college degree, doesn't mean you can't go still learn the skilled trade. And if you want to get your skilled trade first, doesn't mean that you can't go to college. You can actually do both.
Correct. Awesome. Yes, sounds great. So this week was a challenging week for me.
Mm,
It's always a little interesting for me, but this week was just a wake up call. So
mm,
I think it was Thursday on my way home, I received a call from the victim witness. And it's a recording letting me know that the person who murdered my daughter 20
mm.
something years ago is going to be released from jail on April 24th.
Wow.
Yes. And the anniversary of her death is April 21st,
So 3 days after.
3 days after.
Oh wow.
So, forgive. It's a process, and you have to re-forgive people for certain things. I forgave years ago. I know that a person can't give or take life. God does that.
Yeah.
So he needed her more. I understand that. It doesn't make it any easier. Grief is still a process, but I did feel a certain way when it
Yeah.
happened. And today I'm still, trying to process it. But it could be a little overwhelming.
I can see that. That's a hard pill to swallow. Because I know day to day, uh, just speaking for someone who's had a miscarriage, I know it's not the same, but I know there's a day that doesn't go by that you don't think about that. Um, and even if it's just a subtle moment, it's still there. So definitely, I would definitely be in prayer for you.
Thank you. And yes, my daughter was a twin.
Yeah. Oh
So,
wow. And for her sister.
hmm yes, and she's
Yes.
an overachiever. She works for her, and she used to say like, "I'm doing this for me and my sister." I'm like, "See, that's a lot of pressure. Just do it for you." But she is such an amazing young lady. So
Oh wow. That's good for her. She probably still carries her just like you carry her.
she does.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. We definitely want to. I'm going to lift you up in prayer and make sure that God heals your heart, continues to heal the heart. I know that's a hole that can never be filled, but that God continues to heal you in this moment so that you can get through. And, even to where you get to a point to where you actually believe the words that you say, because I know it's got to be hard to forgive someone in a moment like that.
That is true. I'm still busy and preparing for the Single Parents Conference that's on May 17th, where we're focusing on autism awareness. Now, I did just leave a 3-day conference where they share resources on autism in the Black community.
Okay.
So, let me just share a couple of things that I've learned from that conference. Autism is genetics, it's not the diet. It's not from the vaccination that we received during COVID. It has to do with our genes, mother side or the father side. Somewhere down the line, that gene was passed down.
Mm.
And the spectrum, well, the autism spectrum is so wide. Um, it's just a lot of different areas. So it's not something you can look at a person and say, oh, they're autistic.
Mm.
No, it shows up in different ways. Um, Behavior, which this is something new to me, and I have to, look at that. Behavior is communication.
Mm.
Matter of fact, I just told my grandson last week, behavior is taught at home. Now, I understand my 4-year-old grandson, Dayon, when he has a meltdown or a situation, his is understandable. But for my 8-year-old, who's okay, I let him know that now I take behavior very seriously, and that's home training. But now, with this new awareness, it's not home training. Behavior is a communication. It's saying something is going wrong.
Mm.
The reason I need to express myself in this way. So now we have to teach the child how to communicate what that behavior is once they're able to communicate. Because
So So basically, which I'm sorry, I had a question. So what you're saying is like, so let's just take infants because they don't really have the language, they act out in a certain way because that's the representation of the language that they don't have.
exactly. So when
Yeah.
they're hungry, they're wet, we got to check it because they can't identify it.
So someone who is autistic that reaches a certain age, they still may not have the language. So because they don't have the language, they have to act out in a certain way that represents the language that they don't have the words to express.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Um,
That makes a lot of sense. I know I was thinking about, I know we talked about this earlier, but I thought about just postpartum, right?
yeah.
And something that women go through after we have children. And even though we may not know what's going on inside, we feel justified in the way that we're feeling, and our emotions come out a certain way. So I can only imagine, I'm not autistic or anything, but just for someone to feel a certain way and not know how to express how you're feeling, and it just comes out in a certain type of emotion. And I know for postpartum, it comes out in crying, it comes out in anger, it can come out in a lot of different ways. So these are just different things that we don't understand what's going on, but there's still an expression that has to be made so that we can deal with those feelings that are happening inside of us.
Exactly. And also with autism, the community as a whole is not ready for it and don't know how to approach it or deal with it.
Mm,
They need those accommodations, and we have to also be able to learn them ourselves, but teach them how to go get the accommodations that they need, whether it's the lighting that affects them in a room or having a weighted blanket to feel secure because it's too much going on around.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because all those things trigger a different type of emotion. Flashing lights can trigger something different. Music, a voice, anything could trigger something inside of us. And, depending on how well a person regulates, self regulates, they can deal with it. But for someone who's not aware of how to self regulate or how to handle those situations, like I said, that behavior just comes out differently. So that makes sense to where they may not even be able to tell you that I need a weighted blanket, but me throwing a tantrum or screaming or crying, and you put a weighted blanket on me, okay, in that moment, you'll know that's what I need. So as far as a person teaching, I don't know, but I'm just saying I would think it would be meaningful for someone who understood that, who may have an autistic child or something, to know that, okay, if this is what's calming your child, give them the language that they lack in that moment, so that they can say, okay, when you're feeling this way, ask for the weighted blanket. So therefore, they know how to deal with those emotions before they come up as well, as a teaching mechanism.
Yes, no, that is so true. Some they also mention about restraining. Do not let anyone restrain your child,
Mm,
whether it's the school, the police, no one, because they don't know how much pressure they're putting on them.
mm,
So they said even a situation in a school, like if he's yelling out or he's saying no, they's like, well, sometimes in school they don't want the kids to say no, but sometimes no is a safe word.
yep.
Because if you're taking that away from them, then if they're in a situation they don't know what to say, they'll say something other than no, and now they're jeopardized. They're not feeling safe.
Mm.
So always, well, they said appeal every situation. One of the parents got up and was saying that she gets triggered because this teacher called her every day with something. She was like, "Stop calling me, text me."
Now imagine what the son going through if she get triggered from a phone call.
The teacher is always calling with some negative to say about her child.
Oh my goodness.
She was like,
Mm,
and then they also was talking about there's some kids that are having issues that have not even been diagnosed yet, and the school won't diagnose them. She said, and the reason why is parents go and they ask the school to diagnose, or they had that conversation. They said, no, stop having
mm,
conversations and put it in writing. One,
mm,
I request an IEP for my son or an independent evaluation. I
mhm.
request them to be evaluated. Put it in writing, send it to the school. They have to act on that. Verbal requests can come and go. But when you put it in writing,
Yeah,
now it's something they have to address.
that's good information.
Yes. Advocate for your child. Speak up. Oh, another thing is on the IEP, they only focus on one or two things, and that's mentioned in the IEP. Sometimes a child can have a lot of different areas where they need accommodations. So, for instance, my grandson is developmentally delayed, he's nonverbal, and they said for those situations, they'll probably just put speech and OT on there. But he also has social issues,
Mm,
not mentioned in the IEP. You can't address it. And some schools or environments request that they be retested. to add something to it. Or they say, no, we're only focusing on these areas.
Interesting.
So they were providing tools and techniques on how to get additional services. And as a parent, we are the voice for our children.
Yeah.
So that's why I actually niched down a little more and said for single parents who have a child on the autism spectrum. Because I know there are so many parents that child needs additional resources, but they're frustrated with just life and everything, and they don't have the time to go and be an advocate for their child. Because one, they don't know. And they like, well, the school told me no, so it must be no. No. They were also sharing with us that half the people at the school are not trained.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So where's like a resource that they can go to outside of the school for those parents that that may not know where to go find help? Where can they go besides the school counselor or just the school administration?
Good question. You can call my cell phone number that's on there or go to the website. Another community is called Autism in Black. I signed up for the community, but they're gonna have, I think, webinars twice a month to share resources for advocates, because I'm repositioning myself to be an advocate, not only for my grandchild, but for other parents who need the resource and say, hey, I have some questions. And those meetings can be a little intimidating. Everybody has a PhD, a doctor, or a teacher, and I'm just a parent, right? I don't have those degrees. So I figure they know. No, they don't know what's in the best interest for your child.
Very
We
true.
have to work together. So therefore, I can give you the voice and help provide the resources so you can be a proper advocate. It requires time. I'm not going to tell you it don't. And we're going to hear no more than we hear yes. But we're going to keep going because our children needs these services in a world that does not understand autism, does not care. They lump everybody in different categories. And it's not fair, but that's the world we live in. But we have to get it in writing, all the accommodations that's needed for them to be successful. Because at this conference, I saw speech pathologists, people that has master's degrees, doctor degrees, and they're on the autism spectrum.
Oh,
They
wow.
need accommodations. Yes. And okay, I'm gonna end with this one though. One young lady got up, she's 25 years old, and she was even talking to the parents of how to advocate for your child with your family members. She said at family function, she has an auntie that always wants her to hug and come up to her. And she said, I know in my family's eyes, and my mother per se, I'm always the 7-year-old child. And for her family, that's how they see me too. So I need my mom to step up and say, she doesn't like to be hugged. She'll shake your hand, but she does not want to hug you. Because I don't know how to advocate for myself with my older aunties who always want that hugging, and it's a trigger for me. So she like, and sometimes you all can speak up. And matter of fact, she has a late diagnostic. She just got diagnosed on the autism spectrum 3 years ago. As an adult, she went and did it for herself. And she said when she brought it to her mom was like, well, why? You're not in school. You don't need that. She was like, yes, I'm not in school, but there's some things that's triggered and I'm not sure what's going on with me. Just share with me why I don't like certain lights, why I don't want to do this, why this person says something to me and it keeps replaying. It's a trigger for me. So, very interesting conference. I will be in person next year.
Nice.
My grandson. But yes, I signed up for their community because I want to get more information and also be able to show him other people that are on the autism spectrum, and it's not limiting. whatever accommodations you need. I need to teach him how to advocate for himself.
Yes.
It's my job now to make sure he get those accommodations. So if he wants to become uh have a master's, a bachelor's, or a PhD, it's open. Someone
Mm.
has already paved the way. It can happen.
And that's true. And for him to see that's just amazing. He needs to probably see that. So he, like you said, so that he knows that it's possible. So that's a good thing that you're definitely dialing into that for your grandson.
Yes. And okay, so the last thing, I think this is what I'm going to focus when I do my conversation at the Single Parents Conference. Speak up. We have to be the voice that our child needs at this time. Show up, be there. We need to go to IEP meetings. We need to show up to the teachers. If they have something nice or not nice to say, we need to be present to hear it. Last thing is team up. We need a community to share resources with. So therefore we can know that certain language we need to speak back to the educators and the people at the school, like free and appropriate education. We're entitled to that. Services that can help my child. It might can't help all the other kids in the school, but for these accommodations, he needed for X, Y, and Z.
Mm. And that's, you keep saying that day, May 17th, and I'm like, I can't, I want to go, but I can't be there. My son is graduating from high school.
High school, yeah,
so
no.
I think I need to be at that graduation.
Definitely.
Other than that, I will definitely be there, but I will be at Marion High's gymnasium, auditorium, wherever they're going to have it at. I'll be there cheering and yelling and screaming for his, I call him the last of the Mohicans. He's the final fourth. So, yeah.
Yes.
After him, there shall be no more.
Yes, no, that's a very interesting day. Your last one going off to high school on his journey to college. You have to show up for those moments.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny because I still remember I graduated. I remember the day June 12th, 1991. So I remember when I graduated from high school. So it's like a date for me. I remember numbers. And I'm, never really forget that day, how I felt. My grandparents that were there, family members that showed up. Just us hanging out. There was always the senior or the graduation, whatever they called it back then. For us, that was in California. It was going to Disneyland. Everybody went to Disney. I did not go to Disneyland. I didn't see the benefit of it, especially since a month prior, we had our prom. And for prom, after prom, we went to Magic Mountain. That's in Valencia, California. So that's the thing that everybody did in all the high schools out there. And then everybody went to Disneyland after the graduation. So I opted out of that and just kind of hung out with my best friends at the moment, because at the time we thought that we would, go our separate ways, never really see each other again. Everybody started doing their own thing. Well, now kids don't have to worry about that because they stay connected through all the different social media channels that are out there.
Yeah, here we used to go. Well, they probably still go to Great America.
Oh, that's in, where's that at? Minneapolis?
It's in Garni. They have a Great America in Garni, Illinois, and then they also have one in St. Louis.
So St. Louis, okay.
But that's just our amusement park.
Yeah, I know. Every time I go to Atlanta, I always pass by the Six Flags out there, and I thought, I need to go. I don't know, being 51 years old, I don't know how my vertigo would do on those roller coasters now. But I might need to go. I know my son, he doesn't really like roller coasters like that either, which is a good thing. But maybe we could go and just enjoy the day, since with all the different rides, and see which ones we can get on to where they won't shake our minds up so bad.
That's true. And they have a water park too now.
In Atlanta?
Oh, no. In Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Gurney. Yeah, I haven't been to the one in Atlanta.
What does that look? Chicago do not need a water park. It don't get hot enough out there. Y'all I'm in Chicago, it's freezing cold.
Well, in the summer, it's only open for the summer. So Great America here is only a couple of months.
And what's the warmest it gets in Chicago during the summertime?
No, it can get up to 90s, maybe 100.
I
We
remember
don't have the humidity.
it was a while ago that I went for. It was in June, I think, and I had to have a coat on. It was still cold. I'm like, it is June. Why is it cold out here? This is years ago though. I spent most of my time on the Magnificent Mile.
Yes.
Probably spent way more money than I should have, but I remember going to, I guess, whatever lakes you have out there. What's one of the,
Michigan.
yeah, Lake Michigan. And it was so cold standing out there by Lake Michigan. I was
It's
like, this is not summertime.
10 degrees cooler on the lake. Yes.
Mm,
And they do not call us the Windy City for nothing.
I see
We
this.
have
Very
all
true.
4 seasons on a regular basis. Matter of fact, today it's about 60 something.
I don't know what it is in Memphis. It's actually around that. I can see outside. I hadn't been out there yet, but it's still, let me check real quick. I'll tell you. Oh, it's 80 degrees outside. Wow.
Oh, that is wonderful weather. That's bike riding weather.
I might, look, if I can take my Peloton and sit it on the porch, I'll get it done. It's bike ride for me if I can put the Peloton out there. I'm not, although I do have a nice bike, I just don't get out there and ride around the neighborhood. But it is a nice neighborhood that I live in. So, I probably could do that. But nah, I usually just open the window and look out and get on the Peloton.
No, I love riding bikes in my neighborhood. I go on the trails. I'm looking forward to that. So I did go to the gym today. And this week I did walk down 72 flights of stairs. Going downtown, had a meeting, and I was like, okay, I went to see a friend for lunch, came back, took the elevator up, and I was like, well, if I took the stairs the first time, I can do it again. And went down the stairs again. It's like, yeah, no, I probably shouldn't have done that. So, yeah, my legs were a little sore, but they're good now. So,
Wow, I'll let you have that. I don't know about maybe 2, not 72. I do 2 flights. Oh man, but look, we have one more topic for April. What else was it? Financial Literacy Month?
Yes.
For the month of April. I like to I say financial intelligence because there's a difference between being intelligent and being literate in something. So I say financial intelligence because I have learned to be financially intelligent with my money, just through my own path of not knowing what to do and figuring out what to do, and then making sure that I repeat the process for the things that went well for me in that time. So you just have to be intelligent when you spend your money, especially right around now. Prices are going up like crazy. You can be, there's all these specials and deals every time you turn around. Somebody's calling, trying to sell you something, buy something, whatever the case may be. One thing I try not to fall victim to or prey to is when I go to the stores and they say, oh, you can apply for this credit card. And we talked about that before. You get 20% off if you're not going to get approved. Don't mess your credit up no more than that. I try to make sure that if I don't watch anything else, I watch my bank accounts and I watch my credit and watch my credit score. And something you were talking about earlier, we talked about before the call, was just about their 401ks. And you said something interesting about where to move your money to. So I want you to tell me what you said again about what I can do if I see that my 401k as money is dropping to a level that I really don't want it to be in.
Self-directed IRA.
Self-directed
IRA, where you get to manage your retirement fund by purchasing real estate or doing surfing on the internet, well, the stock market, and buying and selling stock.
Yeah, because that money is just there, and it's like I don't get it how it's just disappearing. And I keep we'll just leave it in there. But if I leave it in there, everybody else taking theirs out, what's going to happen when I want to take mine out? So yeah, anyway, that's another. I'm not a financial advisor. I only advise myself and my kids, mostly them, mostly me, and then when they choose to listen about my money matters. But I definitely try to do my own research. So that's definitely something I'm going to look into.
Yes, definitely look into it. what I would tell a person in reference to financial intelligence is prepare for what you're about to do. You you don't have to do the instant gratification, go and buy this right now. If it's something you want, how can you save? How can you put money aside? And then in 6 months, 2 months, 6 weeks, 2 weeks, if you still have that desire after you've saved the money, that's your reward. Go treat yourself.
Hmm.
Use credit like it's cash because ultimately it's still your money. I would rather spend my money, use their money to buy what I want, and then give them their money back without paying no interest and get the rewards for
Yeah.
whatever points they're giving me for using it versus spending it like it's somebody else's money that I have to pay back with interest and penalties. And
Uh-huh. Absolutely true. Something else that I ran into this past week, one of my bank accounts, I was getting charged a maintenance fee. So I guess it would be like, whatever they charge you for having the checking account. And I'm like, wait a minute, where is this coming from? Because I just don't see the logic behind me paying you to hold my money when you're doing other stuff with it I don't even know about. So I understand there you have to have a transactional point. So I use the banks for that. But when I see that there's a fee being taken out, it's like, no, what's going on here? So what it was is that because I moved some things around, like the 401k and all that, that they said I didn't qualify, I guess, for whatever benefit that I was getting for having the free checking. But I'm like, y'all never told me that you was going to start charging me. You just started taking this money out. So they said that it has to be at a certain level in order for them to not charge me, which still I don't see the logic. So people who have less money, you want to charge them. People who have more money, you don't want to charge them. So just be mindful of that when you get these bank accounts out here to make sure that you're looking at how they're charging you, because I'm not gonna, I don't see the benefit in me letting you hold my money just so you can charge me and then you take my money and invest it and do whatever and you're making money off of my money. Um, so yeah, I don't see the logic in that. So that bank account is getting closed this week because I have other ones.
that's true. But did you ask them, could the fee be waived?
I did, and they waived it for just this 1 month, but they're not going to waive it for
Oh,
next month because they told
oh,
me that because I had moved some money out and I'm using them, I was consolidating some of my investments. That they said, oh, that's what caused the trigger for me to start being charged for this account. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I have other checking accounts, so if I choose to keep the account with them, then it just means I have to pay this $12 fee every month. And I'm like, I'm not giving y'all $12 a month. That's lunch. I'm not going to give you my $12 for.
no, I agree.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So, yep, yeah,
Yes, and
that's just, I'm not paying for that.
no, I agree. And for some business accounts, depends on the transactions you're doing with them. Each bank has different promotions and things that they offer. I know for in Chicago, BMO does not charge you a monthly fee to have a checking account, even a business checking account with them.
Mm-hmm.
Chase does, as long as you have to maintain 5,000. Anything over 5,000, they don't charge you. Anything under 5,000, you pay $12 a month.
Mm.
Bank of America, same thing. I think their threshold is $2,000. Anything under 2,000, they'll charge you, except if you have the account where you have your automatic deposits in there.
Mm-hmm.
And even that's a certain amount. If you have automatic deposits, then they won't charge you. But for the business account, they would charge $29.99. So look into the banks, go sit and have a conversation once or twice. I don't go to the banks too often, but every now and then I do find out who's the business banker and have a conversation, because if I need something done or a fee to be waived, I need to call you
Yeah,
and see how can you help me, because I don't like paying fees. I don't like pay 10 cents on a fee.
I
I'm
don't either.
because that's like giving money away. I do enough charity and I do donations all the time.
Yeah,
But
I'm not donating the money to the bank. I'm sorry. That is not a good donate. Two things I'm not donating to. I'm not donating. Whenever you know the little fee that they ask you when you finish the taxes, do you want to donate to whatever? No, I'm not donating no money.
yes, no,
You donated enough money. Y'all got it. No.
I agree. Yes. Hmm. They don't need your money. They make enough. And those fees they be charging people for bounce checks and all that. So no,
Yeah,
don't.
that's another waste of money for me. That's got to get better with balancing your budget to where you don't overspend. That's one thing I work with my son about is just trying to get him to understand about it. It may not when you spend money, you have to keep track of it. It may not come out immediately. There's a way I believe certain checking accounts you can set it up to where even those pending charges it'll subtract it from your balance so that you know. I think I've always had a banking reserve account, to where it'll pull from my reserve if I actually have that. I have it there as a safety net. So that's an option too for some people just to have that reserve, and that will save you from getting charged those $30 charges if you have an insufficient funds or a bounce check fee or
Right.
bounce charge. I don't have checks no more, right? Bounce charge.
Well, and those fees add up. It's one transaction is 30, but if you do one a month, that's 3,600 a year.
And
300.
you could be saving that a month as opposed to giving it away to the bank once again. And I'm thinking about my $12. That $12 was 12. That's $144 a year. I need that $144. I'm not giving it away. I'm not even gonna say which bank it is because I'm not trying to promote them. All I know is that they getting ready to lose. They getting ready to lose a client because I've been with them for over, I don't know, man, like 20 years. And I'm like, this is the best y'all can do. I mean, I don't get nothing for being a loyal customer. Nope. $12, please.
Exactly. And
Okay.
they use your money to make more money.
Thank you.
But on that, do you have any closing words?
Oh man, this has been such an amazing conversation. First of all, I want to say that I'm going to definitely praying for you and your daughter during this season, and I hope that God continues to heal your heart and that everything goes well for you. And if you need me, call me. I will be here. I definitely want to say that. But secondly, what just mentioned my crafting careers that builds tour. I'm really working on that through this season. If you're someone who is a educational decision maker or someone who has children and you want me to come in and speak to your kids, I'll definitely talk to them about the benefits of the skilled trades and how it's helped me out in my life. So yep, that's about it. That's all I'm looking forward to. And if you guys want to reach out to me on Instagram, you can do so at Keisha_the_electrician.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you for your prayers. My closing words is forgiveness. It's something that we do for us. It is not for the other person. It's to release me of the burden of carrying the load. So yes, I actively forgive and I try to do it quickly. But life happens and I'm still human. And hey, it's just been an emotional week. I'm gonna get through it. And thank you so much for listening to us today and allowing me to share a piece of my story with you on Weekly Check In Life
Right.
Unscripted.
All
Enjoy
right.
the rest of your Sunday.
All right. You too. See you next week. Peace.
Alrighty.